So what, just so whoever didn't hear, that's a good point, that a lot of private companies that take your recycled material aren't really, you have to be aware of where their material will end up. And actually the Sierra Club in New York City, we just moved our offices and we had a lot of old computers, and you can get, if you're really interested and have a lot of stuff like for your school, you can get a certificate of environmental, I think it's called an environmental quality document that will tell you that your donation will be recycled environmentally sound. And they will make sure that it doesn't wind up in a river somewhere, that they will take it apart, and they're free to reuse it however they want, but just to make sure it doesn't affect the environment in a negative way. Any other?
I think that this other gentleman was talking about efforts at his university to examine sustainability and search for the smartest things to do on the campus. And I wondered, what were the smartest things to do on a college campus?
Well, I think Katia was actually trying to nudge me to mention more about the sustainability report card, and I would encourage anybody who's interested in learning about the best methods, because the schools with the highest ratings are the ones that are doing the most innovative and best things to go towards a really sustainable model. And there's different categories for the sustainability report card, like looking at where your university gets their energy. So that's a really important one. What's energy usage like? And not just on a campus-wide basis, but building to building. What does it look like? And it's really interesting because a little while ago I met with our facilities manager at WestCon, where our office is, and he showed me charts of energy and water usage in the dorms versus the academic buildings. It's really neat to see how in the academic buildings you have this nice curve where activity and resource use goes up from 9 to 5 and then back down at night. Obviously, that's how you would have it because those buildings aren't inhabited all the time. But in the dorms, it's a straight line, high usage 24/7. So really trying to work with university students to try and get them to think about how their usage in their dorms is pretty constant all the time. And having that data, we wouldn't have known that unless we had that data. So I think that's a really important first step as far as energy use goes. Other things I can think of, where in your food vendors, where their food comes from. Is it coming from China? Is it coming from locally? Is it organic? Is it pesticide-free or herbicide-free? Is it fairly grown by people who are paid fair wages? All of those sorts of things are things that, maybe you can't do something about really quickly, but you can't do anything if you don't know where they're coming from and how it's grown and that sort of thing. So just learning that stuff is really important as well. There's other things like the revolving loan fund that I talked about, and things like green fees, where when you pay your tuition as students, you might be asked to pay an extra $5 or something like that, and it creates some money that maybe your student government or another campus-wide organization could use to fund events like EcoFest or fund things like the transition to fluorescent light bulbs and that sort of thing. So there's also another thing too that with the revolving loan fund that involves the campus's endowment, and I think a lot of administrators don't like it when I mention this, but endowment transparency is actually a really important thing for campus sustainability as well, because you might be a campus that's hosting an event like EcoFest, and I hope I'm not going to get myself in trouble like this, but if your endowment is invested in companies that have goals and aims that are counter to the goals and aims of EcoFest, then that sort of detracts from the value and the all of the wonderful awareness raising efforts that EcoFest is doing. So that's another thing that campuses are doing, is trying to figure out where their endowments are invested, and taking that money, if it is invested inappropriately perhaps, and investing it into companies that do have aims and goals that are in alignment with the sustainability mission